Before we begin, take a deep breath and feel the stillness within you. Life is harsh, and it teaches lessons that are often brutal, painful, and unavoidable. Most people avoid these lessons, never realizing that they hold the keys to extraordinary clarity, awareness, and strategic intelligence. But what if you could learn to see the world with unshakable precision, anticipate hidden motives, read people like open books, and navigate chaos without losing your mind? Today, you will discover 8 brutal lessons that life teaches only through fire and challenge. Lessons that will sharpen your mind, fortify your spirit, and make you deadly smart, capable of thriving in ways others cannot even imagine. Before we begin, take a deep, slow breath. Inhale deeply through your nose, allowing the air to fill your lungs, and exhale gently through your mouth. Feel your awareness settle into this very moment. Feel the quiet strength that exists within you, even if it has been buried under distractions, fear, or self-doubt. Today, we will explore the first brutal lesson that makes you deadly smart, and the world does not owe you understanding. This may sound harsh, even cruel, especially if you have spent your life expecting fairness, validation, or approval from others. But life operates without promise of fairness. People will misunderstand you, judge you incorrectly, and at times act in ways that feel unjust or incomprehensible. The awakened mind realizes that this is not a punishment, it is a fundamental truth of existence. Learning to navigate this reality is the first step toward true intelligence. Most people are caught in the illusion that the world should align with their intentions, that people should recognize their effort, or that life should reward them in proportion to their desire. Whenever these expectations are unmet, they experience frustration, anger, and disappointment. These reactions are predictable but dangerous, for they cloud judgment and distort perception. A deadly smart mind does not rely on external validation for understanding or guidance. It observes clearly, accepts reality as it is, not as it should be, and learns to operate strategically within the constraints of human behavior. When others misunderstand or misjudge you, the initial reaction is often to defend, explain, or justify. But these actions rarely change perception. They consume energy, create conflict, and keep your mind entangled in illusions. You cannot control how others see you, but you can control your response. You can choose clarity over emotion, observation over reaction, discernment over impulsive defense. The lesson here is profound. Freedom of mind and precision of thought come from detaching from the need for external understanding. Intelligence grows when you observe human behavior without bias or expectation. Every interaction is a source of information. People reveal themselves through words, actions, patterns, and inconsistencies. When you stop expecting them to understand or validate you, you begin to see the subtle truths that others overlook. Through these observations, you develop insight into motives, strategies, and the currents of influence that govern relationships and situations. A mind sharpened in this way is resilient, cautious, but also adaptive and strategic. This lesson also extends to life itself. Circumstances do not owe you justice or clarity. Every obstacle, delay, or challenge is neutral. It only carries the meaning you assign to it. By removing expectation, you see opportunity where others see injustice, lessons where others see failure, clarity where others see confusion. The brutal truth is freeing. Once you stop demanding understanding from the world, you no longer waste energy on frustration, resentment, or regret. You conserve your energy for action, for learning, for cultivating awareness. To embody this lesson, you must practice detachment, observation, patience, and honesty with yourself. Do not fight reality. Do not cling to illusions of fairness. Do not expect explanation from chaos. The moment you accept that the world owes you nothing, you step into true mental sovereignty. You see clearly, you act strategically, and you respond with precision instead of reaction. You become deadly smart, not through cunning alone, but through disciplined awareness, calm observation, and mastery of expectation. This is the foundation upon which all other brutal lessons will build, for a mind free from illusion is a mind prepared to survive, thrive, and navigate life with unshakable clarity. Pain is the greatest teacher. Soren's lesson is often ignored because pain is uncomfortable, even excruciating. It is natural for the mind to avoid suffering, seek comfort, or cling to what feels safe. But the awakened mind recognizes that growth, clarity, and wisdom are forged in the fire of challenge. Pain strips away illusion. It exposes weakness, mistakes, and hidden truths that the mind prefers to ignore. It forces you to confront reality directly, and in doing so, it develops resilience, mental toughness, discernment, and strategic thinking. Those who avoid pain remain shallow in understanding. Those who embrace it gain insight that cannot be learned from books, advice, or observation alone. Pain appears in many forms: failure, betrayal, loss, rejection, regret, or even the discomfort of discipline. It comes suddenly or gradually, but its lesson is consistent. Life is impermanent, unpredictable, and beyond the control of expectation. When you face these moments fully, without denial or avoidance, you begin to see patterns, connections, causes, and consequences. You learn what actions lead to suffering, what decisions strengthen or weaken you, who can be trusted, and how to protect your energy effectively. This is intelligence forged in adversity, a kind of wisdom that no theoretical study can provide. One of the hardest aspects of this lesson is embracing personal responsibility. Pain often triggers blame, anger, or resentment toward others or circumstances. But deadly smart individuals understand that every experience, even those caused by others, offers a mirror to their own patterns, decisions, or blind spots. Each wound, each setback, each betrayal is an opportunity to examine your mind, behavior, and choices. It is a chance to refine your perception, anticipate challenges, protect yourself, and respond with clarity rather than instinctive emotion. Through pain, you learn foresight, discipline, emotional regulation, and how to act decisively when faced with similar circumstances again. Another critical dimension of this lesson is resilience. When pain is unavoidable, but suffering is optional. The difference lies in your response. When you meet difficulty with awareness, you transform it into a tool for sharpening your mind, not a chain that binds you to misery. You begin to see obstacles as training grounds, failures as feedback, losses as instruction, and betrayal as a lesson in discernment. Through this lens, pain is no longer a threat. It is a mechanism that builds your capacity to think strategically, move calmly, and act decisively in any situation. Finally, embracing pain teaches empathy and observation. Those who have suffered deeply can read people, events, and intentions with heightened awareness. They notice subtle cues, patterns, and motivations that others overlook. Because they have confronted hardship themselves, they are neither naive nor reactive. They act with precision, calculation, and wisdom. Through repeated encounters with pain, you gain an inner compass, an ability to navigate the chaos of life without being blindsided by emotion or illusion. To embody this lesson, you must stop running from discomfort. Stop fearing loss, criticism, or failure. Embrace it fully, observe its teachings, and allow it to refine your mind and spirit. Each painful moment is a teacher whispering strategies, truths, and insights that will make you deadly smart. Those who fear pain remain vulnerable. Those who embrace it become formidable, clear-eyed, strategic, and prepared for any challenge life presents. Pain is brutal, but in its brutal honesty lies the greatest intelligence you will ever cultivate. People reveal themselves through action, not words. This lesson is deceptively simple, yet it carries immense power. Throughout life, you will encounter individuals who speak with charm, conviction, and eloquence. They promise, explain, or persuade, convincing you of their intentions and alignment with your goals. However, words are easily manipulated. They are shaped to influence perception, evoke trust, or conceal truth. A deadly smart mind learns to observe beyond speech, to focus instead on patterns of behavior, consistency of action, and alignment between promises and outcomes. While many are distracted by rhetoric, those who master this lesson develop the ability to see what others do not, the hidden truth of character, intent, and integrity. The world is filled with people who manipulate appearances, mask insecurities, or hide motives behind persuasive language. Most fall for this deception because they trust words more than observation. They hope, they expect, or they are blinded by desire for connection or agreement. But life is impartial and unforgiving. Relying on appearances alone often leads to disappointment, misjudgment, or betrayal. A deadly smart individual trains themselves to watch, analyze, and record patterns, not just listen to explanations. Each action, even small or subtle, carries more truth than any argument, plea, or promise. Observing action over words requires patience, detachment, and discipline. Impulsively trusting someone based on what they say rather than what they do leaves the mind vulnerable. It breeds naivety and opens the door to manipulation. The lessons of life, however, are clear. Behavior is consistent, words are fluid. When someone repeatedly behaves with integrity, clarity, or generosity, you can trust them with confidence. When someone's actions contradict their words, alarm bells should sound and boundaries should be established. Through careful observation, you develop an inner radar that detects authenticity and deception alike. Another facet of this lesson is one-timing and restraint. She, deadly smart mind, does not rush to judgment based on a single action or isolated moment, but neither does it ignore repeated contradictions. Observing over time reveals patterns and teaches discernment. Through this, one becomes capable of navigating relationships, alliances, and conflicts with clarity and foresight. Quick reactions based on assumptions are replaced by informed responses grounded in reality, not illusion. This lesson also teaches strategic thinking in interactions. Recognizing that words can be manipulated allows you to act with precision, plan effectively, and protect your energy. You learn when to engage, when to withdraw, when to test, and when to act decisively based on evidence rather than hope. You see clearly where alliances are strong, where intentions are true, where danger lies, and where opportunity can be seized. Finally, this principle extends to understanding yourself. Observe your own behavior, not just your intentions or promises to yourself. Words of commitment mean little without consistent action. A deadly smart individual aligns their actions with their values, ensuring integrity in thought, word, and deed. Through repeated attention to action over rhetoric, trust becomes earned, insight becomes sharpened, and intelligence becomes formidable. To embody this lesson, you must train your mind to see beyond appearances, to value consistency and truth over charm and persuasion. Every encounter, interaction, or observation becomes data, raw, unbiased, truthful. In mastering the ability to read people through their actions, you gain clarity, discernment, and strategic advantage. You no longer react to illusion but operate from awareness. This is the brutal yet indispensable truth that shapes a mind capable of navigating the world with deadly precision, calm awareness, and unwavering intelligence. Silence is power. In a world full of noise, both external and internal, the mind is often distracted, reactive, or compelled to speak before fully understanding a situation. Most people rush to respond, defend, or explain, believing that action or speech will secure their position or influence outcomes. But words, especially when spoken impulsively, can weaken, expose, or entangle you in conflict. A deadly smart mind understands that restraint and observation create strength. Silence is not weakness, it is strategy, clarity, and discipline. Through silence, you gain perspective, control, and the ability to act with precision rather than emotion. Silence teaches patience. This patience allows you to observe circumstances, read intentions, and notice subtle patterns that others miss. The impulsive mind reacts to triggers, words, or situations without considering consequences. Through silence, you resist the compulsion to react prematurely. You absorb the environment, interpret data, and allow clarity to emerge naturally. Each moment spent in mindful quiet adds to your ability to make decisions that are informed, strategic, and unassailable. Another dimension of this lesson is emotional control. Speaking or acting in the heat of anger, fear, or desire often leads to regret and vulnerability. Those who react impulsively allow their energy to be hijacked by circumstance, manipulation, or ego. Through silence, you cultivate mastery over your emotional responses. You learn to respond rather than react, to act from discernment rather than impulse. Your calm becomes a shield that protects your mind, body, and spirit while allowing you to act with deliberate power. Silence also enhances perception, and understanding. When you listen more than you speak, you observe patterns, detect inconsistencies, and notice subtleties that others overlook. A single unspoken word can provide insight into motives, relationships, or strategies that would otherwise remain hidden. By holding your own thoughts in check while observing others freely, you develop an awareness that is both sharp and intuitive. Through this practice, you gain advantage in negotiations, conflicts, or any situation where understanding precedes action. Furthermore, silence is a form of presence and authority. Those who speak constantly often dilute their power. Those who choose words deliberately command attention and respect. Your silence signals confidence, independence, and self-control. It communicates that you are not driven by ego or external validation, but by awareness, wisdom, and intention. Those who underestimate the power of quiet are often the first to be outmaneuvered by someone who has mastered it. To embody this lesson, you must practice restraint consistently. Not every thought needs expression. Not every provocation requires response. Not every insight needs announcement. Observe, analyze, reflect, and then act with clarity. Through disciplined silence, you conserve energy, protect your mind, enhance your perception, and operate strategically. Your words become weapons, tools, or guides that carry maximum impact because they are chosen deliberately rather than scattered impulsively. Ultimately, silence is the foundation upon which intelligence, strategic thinking, emotional mastery, and awareness are built. A mind that speaks too quickly is reactive. A mind that observes and chooses when to act is deadly smart. Silence is not merely the absence of words. It is the cultivation of power, discipline, clarity, and foresight. When you integrate silence into your life, you transform your presence, enhance your influence, protect your energy, and navigate the world with precision, calm, and unshakable intelligence.